Hey guys, welcome back to Demonata Month. Today we're going to be looking at Demon Apocalypse, the 6th book in Darren Shan's Demonata Saga. So if you don't know what Demonata Month is, check the link in the description, I've got a full explanation there. So in this video I will have to talk about the plot points in Blood Beast, because Blood Beast does end on a cliffhanger. So if you haven't read Blood Beast, I am going to be spoiling the end of that, so this is your last warning before I do get started. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started. So this book takes place literally seconds after the end of Blood Beast. Basically, Grubbs is on the plane. Those events happen immediately after. This is like a straight continuation. There's no gaps in between. So I can't really say too much about the plot overall because it will be spoiling what happens with the resolution of that. All I'm going to say is it does get resolved quite nicely and the plot does move on. However, my main issue with this book was that the first half definitely felt like you were reading Blood Beast Part 2, and the second half felt like a standalone book that felt rushed, unfortunately, because it feels we spent so long wrapping up the events of Blood Beast that the main plot point of this book doesn't get enough depth and explanation. It just all happens very fast, and you kind of get Blood Beast wrapped up, and then it seems like plot point all the way to the end. Now this isn't a bad book by any means, it's okay. Its main issue was that everything happens so fast. Like, you get Blood Beast wrapped up, and then you've got half a book to fit an entire plot into. And I'm going to be honest, it doesn't really work. It's okay, it's not bad by any means, but everything definitely feels rushed compared to the other 5 books in the series, where everything has a start, middle, and end. This definitely feels like when you get to the halfway point, you're only just getting the start of it, and then you get the middle and the climax all just merged into one big event, pretty much. Now this is definitely the book where everything starts to properly come together. Stuff did start to tie together in Blood Beast, but for the most part it was just a few hints and that, whereas in this you get lots of different characters across the different books all tying together into one cohesive plot. And they all kind of are on the same timeline now, so it doesn't really make any more points where stuff's going to be cutting around, because everyone's on the same point in time, the same events are taking place together, and a lot of characters are now in the same situation, and they will be for the rest of the series. Now, I can't say too much more about that without spoiling who comes into the plot and how they come into it. Just know that if you've been waiting for people to converge and people's plot lines to converge on each other, this is definitely the book where that happens for certain. Now, one thing I did like about this book, though, was that the stuff that happens in Blood Beast, you get a lot more context on it. Because at the end of Blood Beast, obviously, you find out Junie is a bad guy. Now, when you find out in Blood Beast, you're trying to work out, oh, well, what happened? When did she start working for Lord Lost? How did this all play out? How did, she plan this, and this? Now, this book does explain all of that, luckily. Now, you find out what Junie's motivations were, when she started working for Lord Lost, how long she's been working for Lord Lost, what her powers are, and that sort of thing. So you find out a lot more about Junie and work out, what a character's like when she, she's been lying for the past few books now, but you don't know how much she's been lying about and how much happened. Whereas in this book, you find out exactly how much she's been lying about, what she's planned out, what was true, what wasn't true, and that sort of thing. This book definitely explains a lot more about Junie, which I was really glad about, because I did want to know her motivations and why she's been working for Lord Lost and how long she's been working for Lord Lost. And this book does give you a lot of depth on that, and it also gives you a ton more context about stuff that happened in Blood Beast. So in Blood Beast, everything you saw was from Grubbs' point of view, so you didn't really understand what was going on to the other characters like Dervish and Junie and that sort of thing. Whereas in this book, Junie gives her side of the story and you find out exactly what's been happening that Grubbs hasn't seen, which was a great touch. Now, as I said, this book does feel a bit rushed, which is a shame, but on the positive, the plotline is very interesting. I did really enjoy where the plot went with this book. It was a lot of new things you learned about the Demonata. You saw a bit more of the demon world, which was probably my favourite part of Demon Thief, so that's a nice touch. Now, the plot was really, engaging and you're invested in what's going on, but my main issue was just how fast it happened. So the first half of the book is just literally wrapping up Blood Beast, and the second half, the second plot starts going, but you're already halfway through the book at this point. And since you have to wrap it up, because it's quite a short book, at a little over 200 pages, it's you start to get the plot going, and then you immediately jump into the middle of the book. Not the middle of the book, but middle of the story. So halfway through you get the introduction, and then just straight into the action. There's no build up for the action, it just happens, it comes out of nowhere. The battle's happening, and then the battle's over, and now the next plot point started. Now, I know I keep going on about the pacing, but that is the main issue. Now, luckily, the plot points in this book are fantastic. There's a lot of revelations that happen, there's a lot of things that are explained that you didn't know about that reference to other books, and that is done absolutely brilliantly. Because this is worth reading for some of the plot twists that happen alone. The things you learned about at the end of this book that have been building up for several books are fantastic. There's plot points that have been planned several books ago that you never would have guessed until you read this one. And as you're reading it, several months on oh, that makes so much sense now. I understand why this happened and why this happened. And that is handled so brilliantly, but the problem is it all happens so suddenly in the last 15% of the book, roughly. So this book definitely feels in the middle, and it definitely doesn't feel like a standalone book. It feels more like a transition between this book and the next book. and luckily it does get a definitive ending in this book, so it's not another cliffhanger. Now, as I said, it's not bad, it's just okay. It definitely has flaws, but the plot points that are explored and the revelations are absolutely fantastic. It's just a shame that they happen so fast. So overall, I'd have to give this book a 3 out of 5. It's not bad, it's okay, it's good. Now, I wish we could have had a bit of a longer book, or maybe make Blood Beast longer, make this one a bit longer as well. But I feel like having the two plots, like, overlap in such a short 200-page book just didn't work for me. It all happens too fast. With that said, I do hope you guys have enjoyed. If not already, hit that subscribe button to keep up with all my Demonata videos. Hit the like button and leave me a comment below. Have you read Demon Apocalypse? What did you think? Do you agree with my opinion? Do you think the book happened too fast, or do you think it was paced fine? Make sure to let me know in the comments below. With that said, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you next time. This is JJ Goodman, over and out.